Do you use social media for your business, or do you use social media just to engage with potential customers and clients that will ultimately lead them to your website so that you can do business with them? Well, today we are dedicating this episode to talking about how do you get better quality leads leveraging social media so that you can build a profitable business. This is going to be a great episode because we have an expert guest all on this topic. And so let's get started and let's move forward in understanding 5 steps on how to get quality leads from social media. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another live podcast with Markeith Brayton. So excited to be with you again this week for the Maximize Your Brand podcast. Let me tell you, the older you get, the faster time seems to fly. I remember my parents telling me that when they were my age, and I understand now. I understand that the older you get, the faster time seems to fly. Or is it that we're just more busy? I think it's we're more busy as we get older with work, with business, with children, with relationships, with all the extracurricular activities. It just makes time go by fast. So hopefully you're utilizing your time to the maximum in the sense that you're being productive with it. But today we have a guest who is going to help us to better understand and how to leverage social media for our businesses. You know, we see all of the many social media ads, we see people promoting themselves, using social media to market themselves, but are they really getting quality people to come to their websites and to patronize their business or to get customers and clients? Well, my guest today is someone who is going to share steps that we can use to leverage social media in order to get quality leads. Somebody type in the comments and say quality leads, because that's what every business needs. They need quality leads to get into their pipeline so that they can then nurture those leads to hopefully become clients or customers. Well, today my guest is Miss Karlyn Akram. I hope I pronounced that correctly. She is the founder and lead strategist of Snap Social and creator of the Firestarter framework, a new approach to social media marketing made specifically for business tempted to fake their own death and flee to Tahiti at the mere thought of content creation. Backed by a journalism degree, Karlyn has always been creative and loved writing. As the world transitioned from Web 2 to Web 3, she has seen the evolution of social media taking the place of traditional PR, with businesses utilizing it to get information to potential clients and the press without the traditional press release. Karlyn has written for the Social Media Examiner, been highlighted in Business Insider, and has appeared on ABC 7 News. So we're going to go ahead and bring in our guest today. Karlyn, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself? Thank you for
Uh,
having me.
I'm doing great. Thank you for being on the Maximize Your Brand podcast. We always do a brief introduction, but I always like to allow individuals to just reintroduce themselves, share a little bit more about how they show up in the world.
Absolutely. I am the creator of Snap Social, a digital social media marketing agency based in Northern Virginia, but we have clients all over the country. We're not quite international yet. I believe we will get there one day. And what we love to do is help our clients from small, medium-sized businesses to really up level their social media. And a lot of times that means they have to make an assessment of where they're at, develop a strategy of where they want to go in order to implement with intention that ultimately over time leads to those paying and raving clients and customers. So, yeah.
That's great. I don't know a business that doesn't need clients, customers, buyers. Every business needs all the above, right? And every business wants to be profitable. And so I thought this would be a great topic for us to talk about. Social media. What is the state of social media today? In your thoughts, there's so many different
Exhausting.
channels, so many different types of social media. I mean, sometimes it's just hard to know where to start. So, what do you feel like the state of social media is?
It's a little exhausting if I'm being totally transparent, and I'm sure everyone I mean, the amount of clients and former clients that have reached out in the past couple of weeks being like, "What is going on? What do I
Mhm.
need to be doing?" From Twitter transitioning to a letter, to changing their logo, to Threads being born in the beginning of, July 2023. It's constantly evolving, which I always like to say is job security for me, but at
Mhm.
the same time can really throw a wrench into someone's strategy when they already don't have enough time to
Right.
dedicate to being on all the social media platforms all the time. So it's a lot. It is exhausting, but I think if you know where to play and be intentional about the social that you're putting out there and the content that you're delivering, all the better. So I think it makes sense to have a strategy that you can maintain,
Yeah.
be consistent, because the internet right now is full of, I'm going to call them creators.
Mm.
They're not business owners. They are people who are paid to create content at scale.
Mhm.
We are business owners and we are not paid to create content at scale. I mean, I am because that's what I do for other people.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like, there's people out there, gurus saying, like, you got to create 30 reels on Instagram in 30 days. And people are like, huh? I have to do what? And also run my business?
Right.
I'm here to say that you can post 3 times a week and have less than 10,000 followers and still have a six-figure plus business. Okay. So,
Well, that's promising. That's promising. I like to hear that. And
yeah.
so when you talk about social media and all the various platforms, my first question today is, how do I determine which platform would be best for my business?
I always say it starts with your audience.
Okay.
Who is your audience? If you don't know, it is time to do some market research. But if you do have like a very understanding of where your audience is, go there. But also, I guess I should say, and also pick a platform that you know that you're okay with showing up on. Example, I love LinkedIn because it drives business.
Okay.
People are on LinkedIn in my business to do business. I love Instagram because it allows me to check in on my friends, my family, my other business
Mm.
colleagues, peek behind the curtain, and also offer other people a peek behind the curtain what it's like in my world and my business on a day-to-day basis. That's not typically a place that I share, you know, very buttoned up version of myself. I'm a
Right.
very casual person. I wear vibrant colors and I'm a little bit out there, but that alludes to the energy and who I am authentically. So I love showing up on Instagram for the behind the scenes, behind the curtain stuff, knowing that my clients are there and they're paying attention to what I'm doing because they've told me, right? Like,
Mhm.
oh, like how was your vacation? Oh, like I just saw that tip that you shared about reels, and I'm like, okay. And then the other side is LinkedIn, where it's more of the business to business, where I'm looking to engage with, larger corporations or, some of those key decision makers. So, one, go where your audience is. And two, find a platform that you know is kind of a little bit more fun, you can be consistent with, and get some sliver of joy out of. I mean, social media is supposed to be fun, not this like ball of stress. There's enough
Yeah.
of that in life and business. We don't need to translate that over.
Because I personally have had somewhat of a hard time with determining, and so I'm on all the platforms, and I have a
Mhm.
tendency to share similar posts, if not the same type of posts at different times on all of the
Yep.
platforms. And as a personal brand style business, it is very difficult for me to kind of separate some of my lifestyle stuff from the business because they all just become all one
Yeah.
to some
I'm not
degree. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because also it's exhausting to be two different versions of yourself,
Right.
if I'm being honest. So I'm very much, I have a very blurred line.
Mhm.
Um, and on Instagram in particular is where it is just a whole blur.
Yeah.
You'll see pictures of my daughter. You won't see a ton of my husband because he's like, "Don't you put me on any social platform." Um, I was like, "But that's the content that people love. Like they love seeing like what we're doing and who we are outside of work as well as what I'm doing, inside of work."
Right.
But one piece that I think, I'm also someone who is okay with sharing the same content on multiple platforms. I think where we just have to be intentional is how our audience behaves with specific platforms.
Okay.
Like, so what I mean by that is on Instagram versus Facebook, your audiences might be slightly different, but the behavior of which people engage with content on those platforms is vastly different.
Okay.
Facebook, people are used to leaving Facebook and going to a link to read a blog, listen to a podcast, watch a video, versus Instagram, people are not typically leaving
Mhm.
Instagram. And Instagram, well, Meta as a whole, doesn't want you to leave Facebook or Instagram for that matter. They want you to
Okay.
stay right where you
Right
are.
there.
Um, yeah. So anytime that you can get people to engage with you on the platform where you're asking a simple question, like, do you agree with this? Give me a thumbs up. That allows you to have more engagement. The more engagement you have on your content, the more that it'll like bubble up to the surface of
Mhm.
someone's feed. And that's how like the whole concept virality happens. Everyone's like, can you make me go viral? And I'm like, no. How much engagement do you currently have?
Have, right.
Right. Because the concept of virality, and I know I'm going on a tangent, but I think it kind of dovetails into all of
Mhm.
this, is if you think about a pond and your piece of content as like a pebble and you bloop,
Mhm.
drop it in the pond, what forms? Like those rings, right?
Right.
Around.
Or ripple.
And yep, a ripple effect. And so what happens is when your content's delivered, those people who always engage with your content see it first. So they get the
Mhm.
opportunity to engage with your content, right? And then if those people engage with it, it's like, ooh, this is great
Mhm.
content. Let's share it to more people and more people and more
Right.
people. And that's how things go totally wild and viral.
Which is interesting because I meet so many people who will maybe meet me in person or be in a meeting with me and they're like, I love your content. You're always sharing valuable content. I usually don't like it because I don't want da 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 da. But then, I'm like, well, you're not helping me with the algorithm because you're not liking it, even though you're sharing with me that this valuable content. So it's interesting about that. But then on the other hand, I've noticed that some of my close friends, I never see their content. And then all of a sudden, I might like a post and then I see it on my page. And I'm like, I get it. It makes sense now.
Exactly. I don't know why people are like that. I have people like
Mm,
that too that are always like, I saw that thing. I'm like, why didn't you like it? So
right.
more people can see
So funny.
it.
Are you a corporate executive or career professional who's ready to take your life back, ready to take your time back, and you've thought about becoming a coach, a speaker, a trainer, or consultant in your own business? Well, I want to invite you to schedule a brand maximization discovery session so that I can help you to uncover that expertise and learn how to properly package yourself in an online-based business. I'm Markeith Brayton, personal brand strategist and master lifestyle coach, who's all about helping corporate executives and career professionals to maximize and monetize their personal brand online so that they can create a location-free business and live the life that they crave. What I know for sure is that you want to be doing something that's fulfilling and that's exciting and that provides great value to the world. You want to make a greater impact on the lives of individuals, and you know that if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll always get the results that you've always gotten. So schedule a brand maximization discovery session by going to my website, markeithbrayton.com/consultation. That's marquisbrady.com/consultation, and let's maximize and monetize your personal brand. Well, let's hop right on into these 5 tips that you have on how do we really get more valuable leads that we can nurture to ultimately make them clients or customers for our business. Because I think that sometimes people don't really fully understand. Yes, social media can be used as a fun thing, pastime, but really, if you have a business, it's an opportunity for you to quote unquote get free marketing or to promote yourself and to share what it is that you have to offer and how you can provide value to people. But we want to make sure that we're connecting with the right people to get them into our pipeline for our business. And so I love to go ahead and start the conversation on these 5 tips. So, tip number one.
Tip number one will be short because we already kind of talked about it.
Okay.
It is knowing your audience,
Okay.
knowing where your audience is already hanging out and going there. So we've already covered that. I'm going to go on to tip number two. Tip number two is within that social network that you are preparing content for, I want you to think about other niche audiences where your existing client also hangs out. So let me explain. On Instagram, if you are, let me just think about this. If you're a personal trainer, I'm just going to kind of roll with it, and you train people in person. So you need the people who are your clients to be local to you, right? They need to be in your area. Where do your people, your ideal clients, hang out in your community? Is it your local coffee shop? Is it a local restaurant? Is it a mom and pop grocery store that sells all organic food? If those are, let's just say those 3 within your community, oftentimes our physical, where we visit in real life, trickles over to digital, right? I can tell you right now, I just looked up a brewery that I went to last weekend because they're having a specific sour ale on tap. And I was like, I'm going. Who's coming with me? Right? It all trickles back. And so, what I want you to do is identify those key audiences or those key businesses that attract your audience and go engage on their social platforms. Leave relevant comments, reply back to other people's comments, because
Mhm.
that is visible in a organic and free way.
Yeah.
So
And so,
those are
in
great.
doing that, how much time should we be spending maybe doing that daily, weekly, in order to identify these spaces, but then engaging with these audiences?
Yes. So I always recommend at the beginning of the month, just create a list of 15, 30 of these businesses, and you can continue to add on to them month over month. But then I want you to spend 15 minutes before you post and 15 minutes after you post to engage with these people. Why? One, doing it before apparently reignites the algorithm. It's like, ooh, so and so's active right now, right? And then you post your content, and then you wait 15 more minutes for people to actually reply to your content that you posted so
Mhm.
that you're right there to reply back to those comments.
Okay.
Because again, the more of that engagement that's on your post, the more bloop, 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 it bubbles to the top and more people can see it. And so that's something that I always recommend people do is even if you're like, I don't have time before I post, I'm just going to post, just hang out on the app. Maybe you're engaging during those 15 minutes with other people and then wait for your comments to come in. And when they come in, reply immediately back because that will help elevate your post into the algorithm.
Okay.
Another quick hack that I do in a similar vein is I go to the previous posts and I will heart all of the people that commented. I won't heart it when they first do it. I'll reply back to their comment, but
Yeah.
I will go back and heart all their stuff. And so that they get a notification that I liked something that they commented on, and then we'll see my new post.
Okay. That's good. And then later, as you're posting, because they were engaged with that, they would probably start seeing your posts.
Exactly. Yep.
Nice. Nice.
Exactly.
All right. Tip number
Okay.
3. Mhm.
Three is connect the digital dots.
Mm.
I am someone who was not good about doing this, and I don't know why. I think as business owners, we're very humble in some respects, and we just don't share our stuff with people. And so, if you have a free lead magnet, or you have, some type of freebie download or an upcoming workshop, you gotta tell people that it exists.
Right.
That sounds so trivial, but I guarantee you, people that are listening to this right now, when's the last time that you actually shared your freebie on your social media page?
Mm-hmm.
One time I did that about when Reels first came out, and I was like, oh, I have a freebie. I used the link sticker in LinkedIn. I mean, the link sticker in Instagram. I posted it on LinkedIn. One of my friends who is an Instagram speaker, she
Mm-hmm.
saw it and she threw it into her private Facebook group. And I got like 25 people signed up for my list in like 10
Wow.
minutes. I
Yeah.
was like, okay,
Okay. Right.
there's something, right? Because it's not just what you can drive traffic, but it's how can you give value to other people who are in certain orbits
Mm-hmm.
that need what you have
Yeah.
too. I
Yeah.
just
That
think we
that
don't.
having that freemium really helps, right? Or it helps to
Mhm.
provide value, but it also helps to start to build your community because I know we're talking about social media,
Yeah.
but you want to move those people from social media to your platform, whether that be your email list, to your website, so on and so forth, because God forbid social media goes away, then now you don't have
Yeah.
any access to people. But if you're have a system where you're always consistently moving people to your email list, now Facebook's gone down before, Instagram's gone down before. Now, even on those types of days, you still have opportunity to communicate with the people that like your content and that are engaged with you.
I co-sign everything you just said
Mhm.
because people freak out. I remember, I think Facebook was shut down for like 8 hours. It was the
Mhm.
best day ever. It was like a social media snow day. And I was like, I can't do any work. Like, it's like my hands are tied. But that also doubled down on the thing that I have been telling my clients of
Right.
like, it's great to have all these followers. It's great to have an audience. It builds awareness and visibility and, trust and all those things. But you do not own
You
your
don't own it.
followers. Yeah, because to your point, if Zuck was like, you know what, this has been great, I'm done here, we'd all be like, ah. But at the same time, if you have a solid email list, you're golden. So that goes back to that tip of have something to give people in exchange for their email
That's
address.
true. I have to work on that myself. As I hear you say it, I'm like, I do have these premiums that I like to call them that I've
Yeah.
not really posted in a long time. So I definitely need to do that. I'm always just telling people to sign up for the newsletter or this, that, and the other. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think after, just to kind of get into the digital marketing weeds a bit, like after they sign up for it, on the back is where you can sell. Because
Mhm.
I think a lot of people, and this kind of goes into my next tip, is give value and then ask for the sale. And this is not my own ideology. This is from Gary Vaynerchuk, who
Right.
is a foul mouthed,
Jab, 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 right hook, right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Get those jobs in, and then go for the right hook. I think he shared something on his podcast one time. Is like, don't be that 19-year-old boy on a first date who wants to like go in for the kiss like
Mm.
before water even gets put on the table. Like, you have to really focus on giving that value consistently over time, and then give them the opportunity to sign up for your thing or
Right.
download your thing. And I think value is relative. I think
Mm.
a lot of us experts in our field know so much that we don't actually know where our buyers are in their journey.
Yeah.
So sometimes the simplest pieces of content perform best because they don't hurt your brain if you are someone who is new coming to your corner of the internet.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
I am very guilty of that myself because I know a lot about the social media space. And example, today I did a quick video on the importance of making sure your Facebook icons, Instagram icons, LinkedIn icons on your website actually link to the right platform.
Right.
Like, because I don't know what was going on, but the past couple of days I've been doing audits and I'm like, what, why
What's
is it
going
this link
on?
in the wrong place? Or I'm trying to tag, specific partners in my client's content and I go to their website and I click and I'm like, it's an error page. Cool. Like, page doesn't exist. I'm like, does it really not exist? Or did you rebrand and not update your link?
Right.
So
Yeah. Interesting.
help people find you. It's just like the same concept in sales. Like, help people give you money. Help
Yeah.
people like me and other social media managers tag you
Yeah.
correctly.
Now, just to go back to number 3 again on
Yeah.
the freemium, can you talk about what would be considered a freemium or opt-in that people could use?
Yeah, I think it depends on your industry, of course. But
Mhm.
for me, it could be simple, like a checklist. It
Okay.
could be, I think one of mine is a demo on Reels. One of mine is a download of 5 ways to repurpose your content. Like, I mean, 50 ways, not five, because there's more than that. 50 ways to repurpose your content. Um, and I think I have one, like a list of um, calls to actions that you could put to your post that you've never thought of, right?
Okay.
So it's things like that that are easy, that tell people the what, but not the how,
Mhm.
because they need to hire you and give you money for the how part.
That's good. That's good. So just to
Yeah.
recap, number 1 was
Oh Lord.
uh-oh,
Audience
audience. Number 2,
was
know
connected. No,
know where I think there was know where they are, right?
yeah, know where they are.
Know
I
where
did
they
them all out.
are. Number 3 was making sure that you have some type of opt-in in
Yep,
order
connect
for
those.
them to engage with you. Number
Mhm.
4 was you just did number 4.
Yeah, four was
I think number 4 you said oh gosh, you
connect the
just
digital make
you,
it easy for people.
you connect
Value
value,
positive.
provide value, and now number 5. That's okay.
I'm like looking at my list. I'm like, what did I not cover? Um, be consistent and be you is my
Mm,
final one. The reason why it's together is because if you are not a content creator, you do not need to be as consistent as a content creator is.
mm,
If you are, and the reason being, if you are not yourself, people will see right through it.
right.
Consumers are savvy these days. We're served, I don't even know what the number is now, tons of ads. There's like a statistic, but I'm not recalling it right now. Tons of ads that they're smart. They can see right through it. So you have to be you, even if that means not remembering your brain cells when you're on a live podcast, even if that means, flailing your hands and being extra, like that is me, who I am. That's how I show up.
Right.
And I'm not apologizing for it because people can see through that facade. If you were trying to compare yourself to someone else in your industry,
Mhm.
remember they are not you. You are not them. You will not attract the same types of people because you are two different people.
Right. That's good. Be yourself. And that's what I love about personal branding because it really
Yeah.
allows me to be who I am. And I'm not all about business. So sometimes I'll share a new juice that I came across, and I'm juicing these different fruits. And so I'll do a reel on today. I decided to do a reel on one of my favorite juices and, share that. And then sometimes I'll share a podcast interview that I did. And then sometimes I'll share a speaking engagement that I did because they're all a part of my brand. If I'm not healthy, I can't be uh, present as much as I need to be in my business, and so that's where the juicing and eating right comes in. But my primary gift as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, is speaking, and so I'm going to share speaking engagements. I'm going to share podcast interviews. But I just love the opportunity just to be my authentic self, and people notice, right? One of the things that people always notice, especially about my business that comes up consistently, is that Markeith, you are one of the most consistent people that I follow, which says to me, okay, they see me, they
Yep.
have started to trust me because of the consistency, and they are watching to see, okay, well, how can he help me? Because I know he's consistent. I see him all the time, and I want to support.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's
And
great
you're showing up as you every single time.
every
And
single time,
that's the thing is like, I
which is
want
a great
people.
compliment, right? People will say, wow, the person I see on video or on social media is the same person I'm seeing, in person. So, yeah.
Same, and I don't know if that's always a compliment, but yeah, same for me. But yeah, I think it's, and just kind of a last thought is when you're creating content, try them all, try all different
Mhm.
types of content so that you can really give yourself a chance to discover what you're really good at and what you
Right.
really like doing so that you can show up consistently.
That's good.
Um,
That's good.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate those 5 tips and you coming on the Maximize Your Brand podcast to share what value you provide, even though you did forget, we pulled it all together and brought it in, and we were able to laugh and smile and all that great stuff. But let the people know how they can follow you, get in touch with you, and where you are located on the World Wide Web.
Yes, you can go to osnapsocial.com. If you go to osnapsocial.com/resources, you will see all of my freemiums, as well as a way to sign up for my newsletter. And then you can find all of my social channels that are properly linked over on my website to follow me over on LinkedIn and Instagram and anywhere you want to be social with me.
Well, Karlyn, thanks again for joining us for the Maximize Your Brand podcast. And for those of you who are tuning in, whether that be on live stream or just listening via the podcast, hey, let us know what you thought about this episode and let us know one takeaway that you're going to apply to your business or your potential business in order to get quality leads to your business. I'm all about helping to provide value to make sure that you are being your better and best self. Because whether you believe it or not, we all have a brand and you get to control that to some degree if you're willing to put yourself out there and to create for others to provide to receive value from you. But until next time, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. And I'm trying to find my app here. Here we go. All you have to do is go to Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and search Maximize Your Brand. There are over 200 plus episodes there for you to consume, interviews, some solos. And also, since Karlyn mentioned the free gift, here's a free PDF guide called Shift Your Brand Checklist. All you have to do is text maximize to 1-877-640-5632. Once again, text maximize to 1-877-640-5632, and you can get the 7 stages to shift your brand checklist. Just a little checklist to get your thoughts going to help you to move forward. Thank you for joining. Until next time, just remember this: always shoot for the top because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. Take care.